what people aren't talking about, the most important thing. Valve are trying to delete all old cases from the game. So I just wanted to make a video to talk about some things that I'm not really seeing many other people talk about, if at all. And I don't think for a second that this is the be-all and end-all. I think things are going to get far worse from here. I think Valve have been very meticulously and very intelligently planning this for a very long time, if not just a year. I think what they've currently done shows what could potentially come next. No one thought that what has just happened could happen, and it has. We need to understand the potential of what could happen in the future here, and how that affects us. Okay, so let's talk about first. Why did Valve do this? Why has Valve made it so you can now trade up reds, which there is an okay chance of you getting, you know, nothing crazy, into a gold, where it is near impossible of you getting, and now it's a guarantee. So in March of this year, Valve made $82 million just in key sales. Just key sales. Every single month. That's how Valve makes their money. Do you know how Valve doesn't make their money? Through people who actually win when opening the cases and getting a gold. If you open the case and you get a gold that is actually worth selling, you are not selling that on the Steam market. You are selling it on a third-party website like CS Float. Valve will never touch a penny of that again, even though the item is worth potentially thousands and thousands of dollars. Valve don't get to touch that. They don't get to take a percentage when you sell it on their market because you never sell it. You trade it from player to player on third-party websites. They have not had access to this upper echelon of skins, and they want to take that back. Now, this has probably been exacerbated by what people are assuming it's China, by all these pumping of skins, ridiculous inflation of skins. It's just got worse and worse since CS2 came out, At first, things went up quite a bit, and then people started mass investing, and you couldn't get a decent knife without spending over $1,000 or $2,000, Karambit Dopplers, what were they? $3,500? Like, something ridiculous. M9 Dopplers went up to, near $2,000. We have to understand that Counter-Strike has such a massive community, predominantly in Europe. It is Europe-focused as a community of players. If you have friends who are European as an American or vice versa, you will see how dead America is compared to Europe. Because Europe is where Counter-Strike is, CIS regions, okay? Russia, all the surrounding areas of Eastern Europe, Counter-Strike is huge there, ridiculously huge. And do you know how disadvantaged these areas are? They can't afford a $1,700 M9 Doppler. They can't afford a $4,000 Karambit Doppler, okay? These people are never getting access to these skins. So even if they did have money to spend, let's say they could spend $50 if they're playing Counter-Strike all day, every day, and they're like, okay, I'm going to save up some money and I'm going to give some money to get a Counter-Strike skin that I'm going to use because I play Counter-Strike all day. Well, it's never going to be possible because they would need to save thousands up. What Valve are doing, they are bringing the knife price down so that you will buy a knife potentially through the Steam market. So they can take a cut of it. They can take a cut of the money you put on. Skins, knives are now more accessible. So they're getting more customers there. And again, we need to remind ourselves, the majority of the customers there are in Europe. And in these parts of Eastern Europe, disadvantaged areas. We're not talking about the west of Europe. These people are a goldmine for Valve, and they know it. But what is a bigger goldmine is bringing the upper echelon of skins back to the Steam market. I want to show you a video right now. Just a comment that OnlyPixel made very recently, actually. It's a very, very good comment. Very, very good point. Let's just listen to this.
But weirdly enough, we have seen them updating the interface for fucking Steam markets and stuff, right? That was like, I don't know, like a month ago or something. If you buy a case of a marketplace, aka if you trade it, right? You can't open it directly. If you buy it in the Steam market, yes, you can. There's some things right now, some updates, which slowly but surely make the Steam market better than the third-party alternatives.
Exactly. So if you buy anything right now on a third-party website, okay, you have a 15-day trade hold. 15 days. You can't do anything with that item for 15 days. If it's a skin, you can equip it and use it. If it's a case, you can't open it for 15 days. Think about it, if you're buying cases from a third-party website, you're probably buying them to invest, or maybe you're buying them to open. You're going to want to buy multiple of them. You can't open them for 15 days. So let's say, okay, that gets rid of the the potential for someone buying cases to open them. So the majority of people buying cases to open are probably going to get them off the Steam market, okay? Very intelligent. That's because of the 15-day trade hold. Not only that, you cannot put anything in a storage unit that is currently on trade hold. So if you are mass buying cases to hold on to for future profit, because cases are ridiculously profitable over time. You know, I bought cases just a month ago. They've doubled in price. Even during this massive crash, they've doubled in price. You know, and I've sold them because I don't want anything to do with those anymore. I think that the worst things are coming. I think Valve are genius. I think what they are doing is going to completely dilapidate the skin economy in their favor. But people aren't buying these cases to store in storage units from third-party websites either, because you have 1,000 item Steam inventory cap. And if you've got to hold for 15 days, at, let's say, 900 cases, you can't invest in anything else at the time. So people are buying cases and capsules through the Steam community because of that 15-day trade hold. So that takes, investing in cases off the market there, the third-party markets. You're potentially going to do that through Steam. Now, you can do it through, third-party websites like CS Float, sure. But if you're investing in a lot of things, you're not going to do it. If you're opening cases, which is the predominant use case, again, look at this. Let's say $100 million every month. 32 million cases opened in a month. People are buying cases predominantly to open, let's say. They're going to do that through the Steam market. Valve have brought you back to the Steam market there. I think what people aren't talking about, the most important thing, is Valve are trying, right now, to delete all old cases from the game. It is no secret that Valve have been trying to counter the gambling laws that have started coming about in the last few years. So take a look at this. If you're in one of these affected regions, you would have to own the P250 X-Ray, open a case for free, but you don't get the item. Whatever the item is, whether it's a blue worth 3 cents or a knife worth $10,000, you need to pay the price of the key in order to actually get the item. And if you don't do that, you can never open a case again. It's locked. That case is locked there, and it blocks the way until you buy the item, whether it's 3 cents or not. So essentially, they're bypassing gambling laws here by saying, oh, well, you knew what you were buying. You bought this blue, battle-scarred blue that's worth 3 cents, and you chose to spend €2, $2 on it, But that's starting to not fly. So what have Valve done? Valve released the terminal case, okay? Now, before the terminal case released, I want to bring you back to something. People were really concerned about this. So, this Volatile, there was a leak of a Volatile case, okay? Which the screenshot was a kilowatt case that said Volatile, connect with arms dealer, or something of the same wording. And what people were gathering from this is Gabe Follower, he's one of the leading data miners in Counter-Strike. He says, so apparently this new Volatile case allows you to buy one of the skins from the case instead of opening it. And people freaked out, as you would. Because that means you can just choose what skin to buy in people's minds at first. Whoa, I could just spend $100 on a factory new StatTrak Red. Well, that means all the StatTrak factory new Reds are going to have to match that price. And if it's a really rare case, let's think of like a Vulcan or something. A Vulcan factory new on its own is $1,000, not even StatTrak. Imagine if Valve released a Volatile version of that, or whatever collection. I'm not sure what case the Vulcan is in, or if it's in a collection. But you get what I'm saying. They can control the market there, and anyone who's got the item already is going to lose a lot of money potentially. So then the terminal case came out, and people stopped talking about the Volatile case. They were like, this is what they were talking about when they were talking about the Volatile case. And no one seems to be bringing this back up now that what has happened has happened. So this is the terminal case. It is a different type of case where you are offered, I think they upped it to 10 offers apparently. It was 5 at first. You are offered several different, potential buys, and you don't have to accept any of them. You don't have to accept any of them. If you don't like the first one, you can get the next one. This is genius design because it does counteract the gambling laws. You're not given an item that says, this is the only item you can buy if you want to use this again. If you don't like the item it gives you, you can go next. And if you don't like that, you can go next up to 10 times apparently now. It was 5 at first. I'm not sure if it still is 5, but this, it still applies. And what do Valve get through this ingenious case design? In this case, just look at this screenshot alone, 190 euros for a minimal wear M4A4 red. That is the price that you would have given to another player on the Steam market. Even if you bought it on the Steam community market for that price, Valve would only take 15% of it, and that assumes that that money that you had was actually money you put on instead of money that you just like was made out of thin air from you unboxing a knife and selling it. Because then Valve don't really get any money there, do they? Because they've created a knife, you've unboxed the knife out of thin air, you've then got the money, sold it, and then bought this. So Valve don't really get much there. So what I'm getting at here is Valve are taking now the full value instead of just 15% market fee. The full value. That is ridiculous. They're using some kind of algorithm to determine what the Steam market price is, and it's very closely matched. The terminal offers it very close to what I don't know if it's what it was recently sold at or what it's recently listed at on Steam. I'm guessing sold, and maybe it's more in depth, probably a bit of both. But they are basically competing with the players intentionally, and you feel like you've won something because you open the terminal and now you see a red. You've got the same feeling you get when you open a red in a case, but you haven't actually opened a red. You now have the opportunity to buy the red. So I think this right here, this was the beginning of the end right here. This was Valve's nod to say, we are changing how the skin economy works. I don't think they could have done it in a better or nicer way to us. I think if they told us, hi, we are going to make it so, all knives are accessible to everyone, everyone would have panic sold then, but people would have lost the same amount of money. People wouldn't, people would be feeling the same way. Fuck you, Valve. That's how people would be feeling. But it is, they couldn't have done it any better way. This is the biggest nod they could have given to say we're changing how things work permanently. A literal new case where Valve directly sell you the skin. We emphasis on that. They directly sell you the skin. So Valve want to directly sell you skins, and they can't directly sell you knives right now. So obviously Valve want access to that. What are Valve going to do? I think the game is going to be completely Valorant-ified. I think you're going to be able to buy knives, probably for inflated prices compared to Valorant, because people are okay spending that money already. And if you offered a butterfly knife Doppler for $200, damn right, people would buy that. Even though that's an extortionate amount of money, compared to what that knife was just 4 days ago, it's, it is nothing. And everyone who plays the game knows that. So Valve are going to make a serious amount of money selling knives in that way if they do go down that route. They are very intelligently. It's ridiculous how intelligent they are with this. They are destroying the old cases, the old gambling cases, because it's possible, I think, that they may in the coming years be told all your current gambling cases that are in the game, that needs to stop. Which would mean what? Valve's main source of income for Counter-Strike is that $100 million a month, estimated, approximately, from opening cases. But if you can't do that anymore, how are they going to make money? They are thinking forward very intelligently. But what do they do with all the old cases? They can't just take them off you without causing insane community uproar. If you think the uproar is bad here, where people are just able to get the same item as you easier, what do you think would happen if they made it so the items you own are deleted? Or completely unusable anymore? Unusable. There would be insane uproar. There would be lawsuits. So they are very intelligently and cunningly destroying the old cases. Because this case, think of how many items have been destroyed just in this one trade-up. 100 blues, 100 purples, it's insane. It is insane to get 100, you know what I mean? And then that case gets destroyed. People buy that case to open that case to get access to these golds at the top again. Yeah? So think about the Spectrum and the Spectrum 2 case, where you want access to that butterfly knife Doppler or gamma Doppler. I can't remember which one it is. I think it's the Ruby. There's not every case has access to that. So people are going to want to access this case specifically. So people are going to mass buy and mass open these cases from the Steam community market, right? Which means this case is essentially going to be deleted. Why? They're not going to want to remove the collection from the game. They are going to re-release the collection in terminal fashion. It is going to be the Volatile case, however the hell they want to word it, okay? It is going to be the equivalent of what the Volatile case was thought to be. Older cases coming back in the new terminal fashion. And they will directly sell you a Vulcan for $100, maybe $50, even if they sell it to you for $50 for a factory new Vulcan, yeah? It doesn't matter. That's $50 you're giving to Valve, as opposed to they were never getting access to that money previously. They were never getting the money for a Vulcan, because Vulcans were $1,000 for factory new. People were selling them on third-party websites, peer-to-peer, player-to-player. It is insanely intelligent. And it's only going to get worse. What that means is, if you're holding onto a Vulcan right now, if you're holding onto an AK Bloodsport, I've just sold mine. And again, I want to, just note again, I'm not telling you what to do. If you want to hold because you think there's a possibility that things recover, if you want to sell because you think it's worth getting out, you do you. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying these are the things people aren't talking about that I think is the reality of the situation. Valve wants access to the upper echelon of skins. That means that reds are going to go up in price, but still be $200, $300. Let's say $100 to $200. The type of money that you would be happy to just leave in your Steam wallet, because that's 2, 3, maybe 4 games that are going to come out. Money you're happy to leave in your Steam inventory. You're probably not happy having $1,000 to $2,000 in your Steam inventory, because what are you going to do with that? Unless you're going to buy skins to resell on like third party, you're never going to spend all that money unless you're just buying microtransactions. Maybe if you buy like 1 or 2 War Thunder tanks, all that's gone. Who knows there? But it is incredibly intelligent what they're doing. And I think everyone should be far more scared than they are. Something else I do want to mention, I think it's one of the most important things. You need to understand, at the very least, there is going to be a second crash, okay? You need to understand that. I think most people are acknowledging that, but things aren't recovered yet. I'm seeing a lot of people saying it's recovering. It hasn't recovered yet. When did the update come out? 2 days ago? 3 days ago? In the next few days, when the 7-day trade hold ends, we're going to have a second crash. And that's when we'll start to see where things are going to go from here. After that, it is going to potentially be a steady decline, because right now, as we speak, people are still opening golds, yeah? And they've got 7 days from today, and it's going to keep happening until the reds dry up, until the cases are opened to get more reds, until the cases dry up, until Valve releases their Volatile case, or whatever they want to call it, okay? Where they sell you the skins needed to get the golds, okay? We've already seen it with the terminal case. That's what they're going to do. They want to delete all the old cases from the game to replace them with Volatile cases where they directly sell you each skin in the case, and you can use those skins to trade up, okay? They want to directly sell you the ability to get a knife. They want to directly sell you the knife if they can get away with that. And I think we'll probably see that in the next 1 or 2 years. But I guarantee you will see the former point of the Volatile previous cases. I don't think they want to just have the cases, previous collections deleted from the game, and they definitely don't want AKs that are currently $100 or $200 sitting at $1,000 or $2,000 because everyone used them for trade-ups, and then they're getting sold on third-party websites, because that is exactly what this is here. That is exactly what this update is trying to topple. Third-party website sales. They want to bring you back to Steam. They want to make money off you at every point. Because they know that gambling is on its way out. In-game gambling is on its way out. They need to make their revenue like this now. The second crash is coming, and it is going to be a steady decline from there when other items that have been unboxed and are being unboxed right now are coming onto the market, okay? I'm not saying it's going to be an insane amount of items going on the market, but everyone is doing it right now, okay? From there, we will see where it goes. Maybe it will stabilize, but it will stabilize, guaranteed, at a much lower point than where it is, than where it currently was 5 days ago. And maybe it creeps back up over time, but again, I think if Valve do release this Volatile case where they directly sell you the knives, or directly sell you the reds to turn into a knife, I think it's dead. I think it's dead. I think you need to be really careful with how you make your financial decisions based on this, your investments, whether you agree it's a good investment or not. You need to be really careful, and I'm just asking you to just give it some thought. A lot of delusional people are saying it's all the poor people selling right now and they're all idiots. Time will tell. What you're doing right now is gambling, whether you sell or buy. You are gambling right now. And as is the case with any investment in times like this. But yeah, food for thought. I hope I've covered some things that others aren't really talking about right now. I know it was a long ramble. If you did make it to the end, thank you very much. I hope you're well. I hope you're okay financially. I hope you can recover if you did lose money. I hope you're in a position where you were already okay. Let me know what you think. I just kind of made the video because I felt like it, because I've not really seen other people talking about these things. Not sure if I'll make any more on this subject, but yeah, thanks for watching.